My God, I was so excited about this show because I love coming to like something different. I love doing like a show that's like, you know, very unique. I love like interesting like art experiences. I love like, you know, like different like kind of grassroots stuff. I don't know if you can tell that by my everything about me, but you know, I love that type of stuff. You know, and I know what I look like. My friend recently told me that I look like a child's imaginary friend. Or tonight, I think I look like a Van Gogh grew up in the Midwest and then went to Brooklyn. Or, you know, if Zach Galifianakis had a little too much acid and started questioning his pronouns. I know that about myself, you know? And the thing is, I've always kind of been this person who's like really interested in like the things that are different, the things that like not everyone knows about, which I know might sound a little pretentious. But growing up, you know, even growing up, like the music I listened to, it was just not music other people listened to. And, you know, I listened to bands that had names like Delirious and Skillet and Audio Adrenaline. Some of you know where I'm going with this. Now, if those bands don't sound familiar to some of you, it's actually not because I'm some type of hipster god. It's actually because you could sum up the type of music I listen to in 2 words. Christian rock. Yeah, that's right. It was this music that was a subculture of a subculture. It was music for when you were feeling angsty, but you still really love Jesus. It was music that borrowed a lot from its secular counterparts. You see, in my world, there were 2 types of music. There was Christian music, and there was secular music, which you know as music. And we had a lot of debates over whether we should listen to secular music or not, but I was firmly in the Christian music only category. Like, my parents didn't want me to listen to that secular music, and I wasn't sure why, but I was pretty sure it had something to do with sex and or Satan worship. But you know, like even when you go to like Christian bookstores, which is the people who dealt us the Christian music, they would have handy charts to let you know what Christian band sounded the most like its secular counterpart. So they'd be like, do you like Blink-182? Why not try Reliant K? Do you like Weezer? How about some MXPX? Are you looking for a less vulgar, less talented Eminem? Well, here's a white Christian rapper named KJ52, named after Jesus' miracle of the 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And I was obsessed. Like, I was a nerd about Christian music. And like, I don't know if you know this, but there's a big similarity between people who were very nerdy and people who are very religious. Like, there's a lot of shared knowledge. Like, there's a lot of like you holding a lot of information. Like, I think my friend Sam here, if you ask him about his aggro deck in Magic the Gathering, he could tell you a lot about that. Or if you ask Lou, my friend, about Star Wars, which is Star Wars specifically, that has a lot of crossover. So it's like, I can tell you, if you've ever had a conversation with a seminary student about Immaculate Conception, or talked to a Star Wars nerd about midichlorians, it's a very similar conversation. I can tell you as someone who actually went to Bible college and is also a huge Star Wars nerd, they're very similar. Like, they both have a lot of lore. There's a lot of toxic fandom in both of them. There's a lot of conversations over what's canon. I like grew up Baptist, and we were like original trilogy Star Wars fans. We're like, it's 66 books only. And then there's like Catholics who believe like the entire extended universe of Christianity. But you know, I was that type of nerd for Christian music. Like, I could tell you like who produced albums by Switchfoot and Jars of Clay. I could tell you which of the 4 lead singers of Newsboys was the front man on any album. And just like all the secular kids could quote the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song, I could quote, I saw a man with a tat on his big fat belly that biggled around like marmalade jelly. Took me a while to catch what it said because I had to match the rhythm of his belly with my head. Jesus saved is what it raved in the typical tattoo green. He stood on a box in the middle of the city and he claimed he had a dream. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For the uninitiated, that is from a song called Jesus Freak, which was basically the Smells Like Teen Spirit of Christian rock in the 90s, yeah. So I had all this information, but it really didn't, it wasn't practical, this isn't something you can just bring up in conversations. Until I met this girl, which I met this girl at a youth group, which is the only place I could have met a girl. Blake knows what I'm talking about. But we met at a youth group, and we're going, so our first time we're hanging out, we're going bowling, because of course that's a great activity for Christians in the Midwest. And we're going bowling, and like any teenage guy, I kind of want to impress her, so I put on some music. And she's like, "Is that Third Day, AKA Christian Pearl Jam?" And I said, "Yes. Yes, it is." We start talking, and I find out that she is also this Christian rocker Jesus freak, just like me. And we're talking about bands that we love and shows that we've been to, and we start bonding. And this bond forms the beginning of a relationship. And then, the relationship progressed. We got to first base. We got to second base. We stayed on second base for a long time. We experimented with third base, but with clothes on. We were good Christian kids. But we got to the point where we kind of wanted to tell each other how we felt about each other. And back in the day, we would do that through mix CDs. And that's really hard to do within the bonds of Christian music only. It's really hard to tell someone that you love them with music centered around the blood of Jesus Christ. So, we started turning to the secular counterparts. And yeah, I know, heard a gasp, it's real. And we would use songs, and we felt a little guilty about it. But songs like Don't Wanna Miss a Thing by Aerosmith just felt right. And it didn't feel like we were becoming worse people. Then slowly, me and this girl, we got married. And we moved away from our little Christian bubble. And just like our music, our world began to expand. And we started meeting new types of people. We met people who were gay. We met people who smoked pot. We met people who were atheist. And our world just started to change until we got to the point where I can tell you now we are both queer, pot-smoking atheists. Yeah, life comes at you fast. But yeah, so we changed, and our life changed, and our world expanded, and it was all better for it. But a few years after that, I found myself in a familiar place, a dark music venue, listening to one of my favorite bands, the Mountain Goats. Oh, a few Mountain Goats fans love that. If you know them, they have no Christian music equivalent. This is the type of band that pretentious hipsters like me absolutely love, because it's kind of like if a punk band were a folk band, the lead singer yells a lot, but they just have an acoustic guitar, but also there's a saxophone player. It's a lot going on. It's a great band. I highly recommend them. But I was at one of their shows, and they were playing one of my favorite songs, the best ever death metal band out of Denton, which is appropriately about the best ever death metal band out of Denton, Texas. And they got to the hook, and so the hook of this song, it gets to the point, and they sing, "Hail Satan, hail Satan, hail Satan." And it's one of those things that's ironic, but also not ironic in the annoying way that hipsters do things. And so I look around at the crowd, and I see all these bespectacled, flannel-wearing hipsters all chanting along and saying, "Hail Satan, hail Satan, hail Satan." And I was like, I'm in the room with a bunch of people praising Satan. Damn, my parents were right. All right, y'all, I'm Adrian Parrish. Thanks so much for your time.